We got a question from Rachel about improvisation. She asked, how often do you find yourself improvising? And feel free to use this question to segue into being directed on film and being on a film set as opposed to television. So do you improvise on television sets ever, and and then on film sets ever? And
television, at least the television, I've done mostly dramatic work on television. In fact, most of my career is dramatic work. I'm really looking forward to doing the comedy sometime.
But I'm not. I don't think the question is necessarily improv as a comedic thing.
Right.
I'm talking about just you can improvise dramatic scenes as well. So.
But and that's the point that I'm making is that at least in television, improv's not going to happen. You're going to say the lines as they're written. You can sort of get away with maybe adding a word here or there, maybe not getting the line perfect. It depends on the writer, it depends on the showrunner, it depends on what they want. On Mad Men, you say the words as written. You do not stray from that at all. Mm-hmm. But other shows are a little bit more lax. But most drama on television, there's not a lot of improvisation. At least I haven't. So film. Film is interesting. It depends. I think there's a lot more room there for improvisation. When I did Zero Dark 30, I never even saw a script, and because of the secretive nature of that project, and I didn't even learn who I was playing until I was on a plane headed to the Middle East. And once I got there, I learned who I was playing, and a lot of it there was some improv happening there.
Admiral Bill McRaven.
Admiral Bill McRaven, yes.
Right, yeah, that's the name of the character.
And so there was some improv happening there. There were some definite lines that they wanted me to say that they wanted to be spoken as written. But there was some room there to play with. I think that there'll be more improvisation in film because there's just more time. There's more time for them to be able to sort of play with that. But in television, it's boom, boom, boom. Say it. They want to get the point across. They want to get their themes across. 3 acts, get in, get out, and move forward.
Okay, so what's it like being directed on a film set?
Well, first I'll start off with just talking about time. There's more time. So there is a little bit of time to talk maybe about process, maybe about what your character's doing, what he's not doing, about how you want to approach something.
And does this happen before you get cast, after you get cast, during pre-production on set?
It happens. It happens before, and it can happen during, depending on the budget of the film, depending on the director.
Yeah.
Some directors don't want to talk. They don't want to. They're just going to say, try it this way, try it that way, try it this way.
Yeah, I'm having an interesting conversation on the site with William. A director, and he's one of those directors that's incredibly generous and I think very smart in that he gets to know the actors he's working with, and then there's lots of conversation. He has rehearsal periods and stuff like that, and I'm going back and forth. I'm going back to him saying, I don't know when that's ever happened to me. Right. That you get that time to explore all this stuff.
It's nice when you can.
Yeah.
It's really, and it used to be back in the days when this was a director sort of dominant business, in the days of Francis Coppola and those guys. You would have 2-3 months before the production started. You would get together with the director, maybe at his house or someplace, and you would talk about the character. There would be table reads. You would rehearse scenes. There was all this great stuff that happened. It just seems, and that's a shame that a lot of that has gone away.
But you know what? I mean, what's fascinating. Sorry, I interrupted you. But please go ahead.
No. That's. I got the point across.
But it's okay. During the period of pre-production for a movie, there's all of this time, money, and rigorous attention given by really, really qualified and studied craftspeople into their departments. I mean, there is consultation with what the sound of the movie is going to be like, and what the there's a composer that's being brought in that's having conversations with a director and a producer about what the mood of the film is going to be, and they're submitting all sorts of different drafts. And the director of photography has been interviewed for this job, and there's chemistry and there's this whole process of getting to know that department head and having constant conversations of developing the visual style for the movie and all that.
Right.
And then the actors now are just, hey, dude,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Show up.
Right?
It seems, and it seems it's too bad. It seems too bad, and it didn't used to be that way. It used to be, this real collaborative process with the actors, and you would have this time to be able to sort of flush some things out. It seems like a lot of that has gone away. I don't know why. Everything is just moved so damn fast anyway now.
Yeah.
That just doesn't. It's one of the things that sort of has taken a backseat to a lot, especially if you're doing a film, an action adventure film with a lot of CGI and all this shit. The star of those kinds of films is the special effects. I mean, you're an actor in it, and
have you done a lot of work with green screen or blue screen?
No, I haven't, but I know actors who have, and I know enough to know that you're an actor and you're in it, but it's really about the bells and the whistles and making the special effects look really cool, So yeah, I mean, I think on the smaller films, the independent films, you get a little bit more of what we're discussing, what we would like to see more of. But in terms of these bigger budget films, no, you're kind of showing up and you're doing it, and once again, I think you also get, if you have top billing in one of these films, and you're one of the stars, you probably get a little bit more time. You'll get some more time with the director. There's probably more time about process and about what it is what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But by and large, I think that's a lost aspect of the filmmaking process. That's not completely gone, but it's not as prevalent as it used to be.
So what do you do? What do you do as an actor to show up to a set and have your work done? What do you do to have your work? I mean, we kind of covered this a little bit, but I got to ask it again because you show up to a movie where you haven't even read the script, you don't know what the character's name is, you don't know anything, right?
Yeah.
And there you are, and shooting on location. Where was the location?
Amman, Jordan.
Right. So, I mean, where did you find out before you got there what it was about, or you found out there?
I guessed.
You guessed.
I guessed.
But you didn't know until you got.
I didn't know until I got there.
Right. So,
I guessed. I did a little bit of research.
So what? I mean, you watched The Hurt Locker or what?
I didn't have time to watch The Hurt, but I had seen the film already. A few years ago. But
what do? You just say, I got the job. Fuck it. Here we go.
Here we go. It's jump off the cliff.
Yeah.
You just jump. That's one of the exciting things about doing this. It was kind of cool, but also a little intimidating at the same time because you usually know at least who you're going to play, even if you haven't seen the script. But I didn't even know. So I just thought, let's just see. There's sort of a freedom in that, to be honest with you.
Right, you can't be held responsible for shit you don't know about.
Yeah. I guess. But at the same time, it's your face that's going to go up on that screen. So you're hoping they're not going to throw a 3-page scene at you the night before and expect you to memorize it and do it. Because at least there are actors out there that have photographic memories. I know a couple of them that can do that. I'm not one of those that can do it. But I had a funny feeling that this was not going to be that. That they were going to throw these little mini scenes at us, and where you had to maybe pick up 2 or 3 lines quickly, and that's what it was, and maybe just do a little bit of improv. And I found that to be really exciting, to be honest with you. And I'm a person who prepares and prepares. I really try to cover it from every angle, but I found that to be, I actually really, really enjoyed that,